I arrived in New Orleans on a humid afternoon in late October. The kind of day when the air clings to your skin like a damp shroud. I had chosen the city because I'd always heard it was alive with music, history, and mystery. Friends told me it was unlike anywhere else in America. European and Caribbean threads woven into an American tapestry, stitched with jazz, gumbo, and stories of spirits that never left. I wasn't here for spirits, though. I told myself I was here for the food, the music, and maybe a few haunted tours for fun. The supernatural was a curiosity, nothing more. Yet from the moment I stepped out of the cab in the French Quarter, I felt something I couldn't explain. The streets pulsed with life, but there was a strange undercurrent beneath it all, like a faint vibration in the bones. The pastel-colored buildings leaned toward one another as if whispering secrets. Iron balconies were draped with vines and flags, and music drifted from hidden courtyards. I loved it instantly, even as it unsettled me. I checked into a small inn on Chartres Street, a creaking 3-story building that smelled faintly of mildew and incense. The woman at the desk, an older Creole lady with sharp eyes, slid the key across the counter without a word of welcome. Her gaze lingered on me too long, as if she wanted to say something, but instead she muttered in French and turned away. My room was small, with cracked plaster walls and a ceiling fan that wobbled dangerously as it spun. A narrow window overlooked a courtyard, where a stone fountain trickled lazily. I unpacked, showered, and set out to explore. The quarter was a carnival of sounds and smells. Brass bands played on corners, artists sketched caricatures under gas lamps. The air was heavy with bayonets frying in oil, strong coffee, and something musky like burning herbs. I wandered with no destination, letting the city lead me. By evening, I found myself in Jackson Square. Tourists gathered around tarot readers, whose tables were cluttered with candles and cards. I watched one reader flip her deck for a young couple. Her eyes flicked up, and for a moment, they locked with mine. She froze mid-sentence. Her face drained of color. Then, without a word, she swept her cards into a pile, blew out her candle, and packed up her things. The couple looked confused. I laughed nervously and turned away, but something cold uncoiled in my stomach. Later that night, I ducked into a small bar just off Bourbon Street. It wasn't the tourist kind, with neon lights and plastic cups. This place was dark, lit by red bulbs, and the music was low, a mournful blues on guitar. I ordered a drink and sat in the back. That's when she approached me. She was tall, elegant, dressed in black with a crimson scarf. Her skin was smooth, her eyes dark and knowing. She slid into the chair across from me without asking. "You don't belong here," she said. Her voice was low and melodic. I chuckled. "Tourist giveaway, huh?" She leaned closer. "You've been noticed. By who?" I asked, grinning nervously. She didn't smile back. "By what?" Her words clung to me like cobwebs. She reached into her scarf and pulled out a small pouch made of red cloth, tied with twine. She pushed it across the table toward me. "Keep this with you," she said. "Do not open it. Do not lose it." I hesitated. "What is it?" "A protection. You will need it." I wanted to laugh it off, but her intensity froze me. I tucked the pouch into my pocket. When I looked up, she was gone. The days that followed blurred into an uneasy rhythm. By daylight, New Orleans was vibrant and intoxicating. I ate po' boys, listened to jazz, strolled along the river. But at night, something pressed closer, shadows seemed thicker. Whispers followed me down alleys. Once, as I walked back to the inn, a black rooster darted across my path, its eyes glinting unnaturally. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being pulled toward something. One evening, I wandered beyond the quarter into a quieter part of town. The streets were narrower, the houses older, with peeling paint and sagging porches. I don't know why I kept walking. The air grew heavier, charged, as if a storm was coming. That's when I saw the shop. It was wedged between two boarded-up buildings, its windows covered in lace curtains. A hand-painted sign read, Maison de l'Ombre, House of Shadow. Candles flickered inside. Against my better judgment, I went in. The air was thick with incense. Shelves were crowded with jars of herbs, bones, and bottles of dark liquid. Masks hung on the walls, their carved eyes watching me. Behind the counter stood a man with skin like polished mahogany, and eyes as pale as smoke. "You've come," he said softly, as if he'd been expecting me. I swallowed. I was just curious. He smiled without warmth. Curiosity is the door through which spirits enter. I tried to leave, but my feet wouldn't move. He reached beneath the counter and set something down in front of me, a small, weathered book bound in cracked leather. Symbols I didn't recognize were etched on the cover. "This is not your path," he said. "But the path has chosen you." I shook my head. "I think you've got the wrong guy." His pale eyes gleamed. "Do you carry the pouch?" My hand instinctively touched my pocket. He nodded slowly. "Good. Do not let it go. Others will try to take it." I stumbled backward, muttered something about leaving, and pushed out into the night. The streets were empty, the lamps flickered, and in the distance I heard drums. I began to dream. At first, they were fragments, faces painted white, candles burning in circles, snakes coiling around wrists. Then the dreams grew vivid. I stood in a swamp under a bleeding moon. Figures chanted in a language I didn't know. A woman's voice whispered in my ear, "The veil is thin, you are already on the other side." I woke drenched in sweat, the red pouch clutched in my hand, though I never remembered pulling it out. Sleep offered no rest. By day, I drifted like a ghost through the city. The tarot readers turned their faces away. Strangers crossed the streets when they saw me. Even the staff at the inn avoided my eyes. One night, unable to stand it any longer, I followed the sound of drums. They led me out of the quarter, down streets that grew darker and emptier, until I reached the edge of the city. Cypress trees loomed ahead, the swamp. Lanterns glowed among the trees, shadows moved. I crept closer, heart hammering. A circle of people stood around a fire, their faces painted with skulls, their bodies draped in white and red cloth. They swayed to the rhythm of drums, chanting words that prickled my skin. At the center of the circle stood the woman from the bar, the one who had given me the pouch. Her crimson scarf glowed in the firelight. She lifted her arms, and the chanting ceased. Slowly, she turned her head. Her eyes found me instantly, as if she'd known I was there all along. "Step forward," she commanded. I wanted to run. My legs betrayed me. I stepped into the circle. The others parted, creating a path. I moved toward the fire, the heat licking my face. The woman smiled faintly. "You carry it still," she said. I nodded, trembling. She leaned close. "Good, you are the vessel." Before I could ask what she meant, the drumming resumed, louder, faster, feverish. The others began to chant again. The air thickened until I could hardly breathe. The flames leapt higher, green and blue. The woman placed her hand on my chest. "Tonight, the veil opens," she whispered, and then I saw them. Figures rising from the shadows beyond the firelight. Tall, thin, faces hidden by bone masks. Their eyes burned like coals. They drifted closer, silent, their presence colder than death. I tried to scream. No sound came out. The woman pressed the pouch harder against my chest. "Do not open it," she hissed. "Not until the end." The fire roared. The shadows closed in. The chant became a single deafening note. And then I woke in my inn room, sprawled on the floor. My clothes stank of smoke and swamp water. The pouch lay beside me, pulsing faintly, as if alive. I stumbled to the window. The city looked the same, but I wasn't the same. My reflection in the glass flickered, just for an instant, showing not my face, but a skull painted in white. I don't remember checking out of the inn. I don't remember packing. But somehow, I was on a bus out of New Orleans by nightfall. The pouch was still in my pocket, heavier than ever. And though I left the city behind, the drumming never stopped. Even now, as I write this, I hear it faintly in the distance. Each night it grows louder, closer. I still haven't opened the pouch, but I know the time is coming when I will have no choice. And when I do, I fear the veil will never close again.